Hello everybody, I'm John McClellan, and thank you for watching this episode of Poor Choice, where, and let me say this clearly, I drink the worst liquor on earth. Now, I said the worst liquor part slowly because, as strange as it may seem, we have some viewers that don't quite understand what they're getting into. I get a lot of great comments every single week saying how you love the videos, funny and informative style. Thank you very much. However, there are a few out there that get mad watching me trash their favorite alcohol, even though I not only say what's happening at the beginning of every video. The words worst liquor on earth are in the title. The good comments outweigh the bad by a wide margin. And with those comments in mind, I'd like to switch gears this week from the normal bad booze and facial contortions to explaining what I think is one of the most misunderstood liquors available, single malt Scotch. There are two groups when it comes to single malts. The group that really don't know anything about it, and the group that knows way too much about it. The too much group loves to go on and on about single malts, like they're explaining to you why they wear shorts during the winter. So what's so confusing about single malts? It's a kind of whiskey made in Scotland, right? Well, not always. And that's the first confusing thing. Most single malts are from Scotland, but they make single malts in Japan, India, Canada, and the United States. It can only be called single malt Scotch if it's made in Scotland. Just like homemade food can only be made at home. You really can't get homemade food at a restaurant. They may say it's homemade, but unless the kitchen staff lives in the restaurant, it's not. So the difference between a single malt and a single malt Scotch is where the guy that makes it sleeps at night when he gets off of work. Another confusing thing. What's the difference between a single malt Scotch and a blended Scotch? Why isn't a blend better? It's got more stuff in it. When you order pizza, you don't just get a plain cheese pizza. You order some olives and mushrooms on that thing. Olives and mushrooms? Are you daft, man? More isn't always better, and that's the case here. I've been eating Scottish food my entire life, and I will tell you, the fewer ingredients that are in the dish, the better chances are of you finishing that dish. And that carries over to the booze too. Single malts will come from a single distillery, where blends come from several places. Blended Scotch may be more accessible, but in reality, the single malt has superior character and a more distinct flavor. Now, here's where it gets really confusing. What are these supposed to taste like? Single malts have a distinct flavor, but that flavor will be different depending upon where they make it. The 5 different regions of production vary just like accents in one region of a country to the next, making them hard to understand at times. An analogy that fits the theme of the show today. Now, for an experienced drinker, single malts from the Speyside region have a sweet and nutty flavor, but don't expect it to taste like granola. It's more like the Gwyneth Paltrow candle maker kind of sweet and nutty. These are good entry-level single malts, just don't like them. The Islay region, famous for their peaty, which actually comes from the peat they use to distill it, and smoky flavors. It's a glass full of William Wallace setting a village on fire without having to sit through the whole Braveheart movie. The Campbeltown region is the smallest, with only 3 distilleries. These single malts offer the flavor of brine and smoke that come from the insurance fires set by the other distilleries that went out of business. Lowland entries are light, with cream and toffee notes, making them the Gatorade of single malts. Perfect before a meal or after Pilates. Highland single malts are subtle, which means you can expect words in the product description like windswept and spirited and other fluffy nonsense you would hear listening to a Lord of the Rings podcast. We've got a Highland single malt here for a little taste. Now, when you first take a sniff, it'll smell like magic markers on purpose. And there's more. It'll burn a little bit on the first sip on purpose. And there's more. You're not going to want to take another sip for a little while. That's on purpose too. These are just defense mechanisms that single malts use to keep the unworthy away. Just like that person you hated when you first met and ended up spending the rest of your life with. That's a single malt. Listen, if you want real information, go look it up. I know a few things, but I really chose to do an episode on single malts because I got tired of drinking the equivalent of single-ply toilet paper every week. Just trying to be funny here. If I made you mad while I was doing it, then we probably dated at one point. Slanjava.